Hi, everyone, and welcome back to yet another cracking edition of The Matt Brown Show. This episode is proudly brought to you by Bioniq, and with us in the hot seat today is the founder and CEO of Bioniq, and his name is Vadim Fedotov. Vadim, welcome to the show.
Hey, Matt. Pleasure to be here.
Cool, bud. So why don't you kick us off with the elevator pitch? What exactly are you guys up to there at Bioniq?
Bioniq are the world's most personalized supplements based on blood data. So we're the only company in the market for supplementation that actually the client can see how we work, how effective our product is. And then it's not just about a subjective feeling, but also objective results and improvements of the overall health and cognitive function of the user.
Uh-huh. So in layman's terms, what's the problem that you guys are looking to solve for the world?
Overall, the supplement market, the dietary supplement market is a $250 billion every year, with almost exclusively supplements sold with one size fits all approach, which means there's dosages that are suitable for children, elderly people, athletes, but all of them receive the same amount and the same ingredients. We all know that every one of us is unique, has unique goals, unique needs, and the supplementation market has become a little bit of an afterthought because people don't see or feel results, which is not surprising to us because we know that the dosages that you get off the shelf very rarely can have any benefits to you because they are not personalized to your body's needs.
Is the whole vitamin game a farce? Because if I think about taking vitamins, I always question, well, is this actually something that I should be doing? As an example, both my kids were sick this week, and my wife was really pissed off. She was like, I was giving them vitamins. I don't understand why they got sick. Do you see what I mean? So
I
how
know
much
exactly
of
what you mean.
this whole topic of or this industry of, take your vitamins or you'll get sick, how much of that is a farce versus reality?
The majority of the vitamins that you would take, again, they have first and foremost a placebo effect, which means on a mental level, you believe they work, so there will be a benefit to you. But the actual benefit that you would expect from taking iron by increasing your iron levels significantly, or taking vitamin D and increasing your vitamin D level significantly so your immune system is stronger, or with iron your energy level is higher, will be so minimal because of the dosage that you take, because your body's and the body's absorption is so unique that most likely it is a farce and it's a waste of money. But before we go there, again, if you anybody who asks me knows my opinion. I'd rather you not take anything at all than take something that you're not sure of. If you want to take something because of the placebo effect and to have at least a foundation, there are some critical supplements out there that every one of us should be taking on a regular basis. And because the dosages are so low of the things that you can get on the shelf, you are most likely safe doing so, but you should not expect any kind of wonders to happen with you in terms of not getting sick or feeling very energetic or overperforming in the gym or any other area of your life.
Mhm. So when you think about men and women, for example, if you have, 100-pound man that's 40 versus a 100-pound woman that's 30, why are the needs for supplements so different between men and women, different ages, different body sizes? What's the reason for the need to have
Of course.
different types of supplements programs, if you like, or a supplement product built around your particular life stage? What's the reason for that?
So the younger you are, the higher is the absorption level. So children who don't take supplements still get all the nutrients that they need to grow and build up a muscle and growth in terms of also height. That's because at a younger age, your metabolism, the absorption levels is just much better to get the absolute most out of nutrients that you eat. The older you get, the worse your absorption becomes. So the better your diet has to be. So if I am an older age, my dosage most likely has to be higher because my absorption levels are lower. But now comes the point, if I'm at a higher age, but I am more active, I need even higher dosage because my absorption level is lower, but because of my physical activity, my expenditure is higher. So your age level, your activity level impacts that. Now comes the additional weight. in terms of the weight proportion, additional weight requires also additional dosage. I mean, I'm 240 pounds, right? I need more supplements than somebody who weighs half of my weight, just because the absorption levels to impact myself, that's different. Now, in terms of females, with women, there's also the menstrual cycle. So things like iron levels, for them, it's much, much harder to increase their iron levels because of the menstrual cycle, which we see very often. Majority of our female clients who come to us have a low level of iron levels, which might not be surprised. The surprise is that majority of those women are already taking iron supplementation and still have an extremely low level of iron, which again showcases that the absorption level from the supplements that you get off the shelf and from the food you take just gets lower with age and gets even lower when your activity level is higher because your body is more depleted.
So, Vadim, how do you know what you actually need? I mean, if you think about what you just said, maybe a woman's pregnant, I'm 44, I'm kind of like midlife, I'm on the subtraction side of life now.
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
On the other hill, on the other side of the hill.
So how do you know what you actually need? Or I find that a fascinating question to ask, because
Sure.
if we're all different, like how much are we different? Is it a small variant degree, or can we be bucketed into, well, you're 44, male, relatively active, and so therefore here's the whole vitamin program that you need. Like, so if we're all different activity levels and so forth, like how do you go about actually understanding exactly what someone needs?
So I'll give you a little bit of background how Bioniq came about. So I'm a former professional athlete. I'm not a doctor. I'm not pretending to be one. When I, after my career in basketball, went in the corporate world and built businesses, I realized that my body requires additional support to optimize myself. Which I realized because from the diet, from the supplements, from my workout regimen, I would not get the benefits that I expected to get because I still had brain fog, I still was lethargic, I still felt I was overweight given the amount of training and time and resources I put behind it. So I went out into the world to find out who can tell me what is wrong with me and how can I feel better. So I ended up going to a doctor and describe to him all the symptoms that I have. The brain fog, the cognitive functions, it's lowering. My physical capabilities are not the same anymore. I am just lethargic. I'm lazy on the weekends. And I tell him all those things. The doctor listens to me very, very carefully, nods, says, I know exactly what you need to do. And the doctor tells me, we need to do a blood test. And based on the blood test, I will be able to tell you what's the origin of your symptoms and what we need to do afterwards. And I said, that's fine. This is great. I loved it. Paid $1,000 for the blood test. Thought to myself, that's a good investment. Waited for a week. Expected when I come back, the holy grail moment. He tells me exactly what I need to do, how to go about it, and how I'm going to feel better. And this doctor, and this is a little bit in line with what you just said, prints out my results, looked at the results for like 20 seconds, looks back at me and says to me, you know what? Actually, yeah, you're fine. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm fine? He's like, yeah, all your values, all your blood markers are in the normal zone. You're not ill. I'm like, doctor, that's great that I'm not ill, but I didn't come to you because I said I feel ill. I came to you because I have all my symptoms. And the doctor said back to me, well, because all your markers are on the norm, I can't treat you for any illnesses. We heal people that are ill. I'm like, yes, but I'm not ill. I'm trying to optimize. So the doctor couldn't tell me what I need because in his world, people are either ill and he prescribes something, or they're not ill and that's like outside of his impact level. So I thought to myself, there must be something out there that actually can help people like me to better understand what their body needs to feel better about themselves and optimize. And this is where my journey for Bioniq started. I'm like, let me create something that gives you information about what goes on inside of you, provides you solutions personalized, tailored to your needs, and also gives me the opportunity to see if those solutions actually work for my body. And when I, in my head, realized that that's what I was looking for, I started studying what's out there in the world of research and science. And I met this doctor who, since 2011 in Switzerland for 7 years, the clinical trials, to showcase how the personalized micronutrients, which are supplements, can impact physical and cognitive function of professional athletes. And he found out 3 important things. And this is where we're going to get to what Bioniq does and how it does it. When you optimize your micronutrients, your physical capabilities on standardized tests improve up to 7.9%, which for an Olympic athlete is insane. I play professional sports, 1% is something that you dream of. up to 8% is, I'm talking about like VO2 max standard testing, like really, really improving yourself. The second part was cognitive function, which means the memory and the speed of memory increased significantly. But most importantly, how he was able to achieve those progressions in terms of physical and cognitive capabilities, people were on average 10 days per year less sick. So what you just said in terms of should I give supplements to people so they don't get sick? If they're personalized and towards the deficiencies of the body, yes. Because if the body has less deficiencies in the micronutrient level, he can focus on other things and prepare the immunity to not get sick and be in a stable position regardless of the climate changes, the environment, whatever is going on in terms of your life. So when Bioniq started, the data that he accumulated in those 7 to 8 years for 952 participants was the foundation of us to understand what Matt needs or what Vadim needs or somebody else needs. And since then, in the last 5 years, we've built on that platform. We now have over 60,000 users who over time did regular blood testing, allowing us to exactly know how much iron, how much vitamin D, vitamin C, B6, B9, B12 you need to get an optimal level. And this is where the uniqueness of our proposition comes in. Because of the biggest data block of regular blood testing for micronutrient levels, we're able to identify for each person what they need and at what stage they need that, in what quantity, so in what dosage.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So, where does the journey actually begin with this whole thing? Does it start with some kind of quiz or assessment that Matt needs to go through, or that entrepreneurs need to go through to understand exactly what sort of micronutrients they need?
So this is the most exciting part for us as a business. It took us 5 years, and before that, 7 years of research. So with total 12 years. We have now amassed the largest database that allows us to predict the nutrient deficiencies for people based on a 34-question questionnaire. The questionnaire is around your lifestyle habits, your goals, your physical capabilities, but also any sort of intake that you currently already have, including if your diet or other supplementation, or medical history in the past. What we do now is, so when you become a Bioniq user and you start with Bioniq Go, you fill in this quiz. Once you fill in the quiz, our algorithm will predict based on comparable people and averages of those people who have done similar quizzes in the past, filled in with similar answers, what blood test results they had, which does allow us now, without you, Matt, actually doing the blood test, to receive as close as possible the micronutrients that your body needs based on other people with similar data points as you. So you fill in the questionnaire, we predict the blood testing results that you would have based on the biggest database in the world, and then you receive for 3 months your personalized micronutrients that you take in. And afterwards, as a client, you can then decide, do I want to do a blood test now, upload the blood test if you already have one, or buy one, or do you want to continue with the micronutrient you currently take and do the blood test later? But your journey starts with the quiz that allows us in our system to predict what your body needs to then get as efficiently and safe as possible to the optimal micronutrient levels in your blood levels.
And how long does it take to do this quiz and before you get your results?
So the quiz itself takes between 5 to 7 minutes. The results are happening, the algorithm probably does it in less than a minute time. So you receive the personalized recipe of what your body needs, and that's for free. So any person can go on bioniq.com, choose Bioniq Go, start the quiz, fill in the questionnaire, and receive at the end this personalized recipe. Those are the 25, the 30, up to 54 different components, and the dosages of the components that, based on how you fill in the questionnaire, you would receive. And then you can decide, is that something that you're interested in? And then you start your Bioniq journey.
Mm-hmm. So, who should take this quiz? I mean, is this if someone's feeling relatively healthy on a day-to-day basis, they have average energy levels? Is that someone that should be taking this test, or is this someone that feels fatigued? We're at the end of the year now, and I'm feeling pretty fatigued. People are sort of checking out; they just want to go on holiday, spend time with their families because they're tired, right? Long year, lots of stress, and all this kind of stuff. So, who should be taking this assessment? And why?
I think there's two approaches here. There's the people who are quite disciplined themselves already, and are looking for the one additional edge that they can get to optimize themselves. That's, call them the health enthusiasts. Those people are always looking, how can I improve? They already have a decent diet, they already have a good sleep routine, they're looking after their activity level, and now they feel like, okay, they need to take the next step in terms of personalized nutrition. But that's a very, very niche part. The largest part that we have, which you just described, are people who wake up and think to themselves, I used to have more energy, or I used to feel better, or I used to get less sick. And those people, when they fill in the questionnaire, the way they fill in the questionnaire, based on the question, they will already understand how the questions are and how they can be triggered in terms of, we find out what you truly are lacking and what you're actually striving to do. So the majority of the people who, as of today, feel that they are not what they used to feel, or they think that right now they could use additional support, are the people who most likely are going to start the Bionic journey.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, man. So take this quiz if you're feeling fatigued, or even if you're feeling fantastic and you just want another level of sort of performance as a individual, whether you're an athlete, a husband, father, business owner, etc. Right?
I mean, there's the uniqueness about having a personalized product. We have people who fill in the questionnaire, or even the blood tests in the past, who have close to optimal results, and they literally need just a little bit of of fine tuning. And then you have the people who, unfortunately, don't have the time to look after the diet as much as they would like to, and they really need a lot of support and get up to 50 components in different dosages to have a daily addition to their diet to get their body back to the optimal levels.
Vadim, why has no one solved this problem before?
The biggest issue, the entry barrier. So when we started Bioniq, the biggest issue was because the data that we had was very limited towards professional athletes. If I tell you that, I know how to improve the cognitive function of an Olympic athlete, you tell me, Vadim, that's great, but how does it impact my life? So we had to create a database and a client base of people that are in the real world. And to do so, we had to create, first of all, a company in London, then in other countries. We went up to 12 different countries, set up a service of nurses, of phlebotomy nurses that go to people's homes, take the blood test, send the blood tests to the laboratories analyze it, get it back. So it's a very, very overhead and operational big task to set up a continuous blood testing operation for life optimization purposes, not for ill people, but for people who actually have an active life, travel, and do things. So for the first 4.5 years, this was a humongous operational undertaking to set it up on a global scale, to get regular blood testing in variety. And then once you get the blood testing data, every data is different based on laboratory, based on the country, based on the markers. So we had to just build a system in the back end that unified all the data. So if Matt does a blood test tomorrow in the US and then he goes to the UK, then to Australia, and then to India, it doesn't matter for Matt, because he will always compare in the back end apples to apples, because we will be able to adjust the results based on wherever he was in the world. So he can compare how am I feeling today, how I'm actually doing today, and how well is the product working for me.
Okay, got it. So you've got two programs here, or products essentially. So you've got Bionic Go and Bionic Pro. What are the differences between these two offers, and who should be using Bionic Pro versus Bionic Go as an example?
So Bionic Go is literally the product that I would recommend everyone to start Bionic journey with. It's available globally. It's a questionnaire-based product that after filling the questionnaire, you will receive a recipe and can make a decision if you want to receive your personal supplements. Once you're on your Bionic journey with Bionic Go, for the people who want a little bit more additional personalized approach, we have a Bionic Pro offer, which is, as the name says, for the professionals. So we have a lot of professional athletes on this product, biohackers on this product, longevity experts, doctors, and all our medical institution partners. So we're partnering with some of the world leading medical institutions all over Europe and the Middle East and the US. Those partners are integrated Bionic Pro because there's a regular blood testing part. So Bionic Go is a questionnaire-based product that receives its suggestions from predictions of blood testing data. And Bionic Pro is the actual blood test that a person does or uploads. and then receives their product.
So the Bionic Go product is really based on all those biochemical data points that you were describing earlier. I believe there's like 4 million of those. Is that right? And
Yes,
then the
correct.
Bionic Pro is the one where you have an actual blood test. So like, for instance, I actually have a blood test, or I had a blood test done probably a couple of weeks back.
Yeah,
And, it's just something you do every year. And so I could take that blood test and then upload that to your system as part of the Bionic Pro story. And then
correct.
you would use that blood test to actually provide a micronutrient customized product to me. Is that correct?
That is perfect. Perfectly explained. So we tell people if you have a blood test as recent as 3 months, feel free to upload it because any additional data we have from you will be a benefit to us. And then we will cross-check if you qualify to be able for us to provide you with Bionic Pro product. The Bionic Pro product has double the volume of ingredients. It's up to 120 components because we have the blood test data sets. So we know exactly what your body actually needs and can give you even a higher dosage because it's safe for us because we don't have to predict. We actually know exactly what Matt, in this case, is missing.
And so if I'm sitting in the US as an example, and you're sitting in Dubai, and someone else might be sitting in South Africa as an example, are these products accessible to anyone anywhere in the world?
This is the great thing that I said to you that after 4.5 years, we managed 4 months ago. So from July on, Bionic is globally available. And anyone we had last month, we shipped to 37 different countries, including Rwanda, Singapore, Brazil, everywhere in the world we can now ship to. Almost everywhere in the world. There's some exceptions. We can ship to Bionic. So yes, South Africa, UAE, and the US. I mean, US market as of last month has become and surpassed all our other markets, and the US is now our largest market in the world.
So let's say that I upload my blood test, and then I get on the Bionic Pro program, and I start taking your supplements. How quick do I start seeing results? Is it something that you get in 45 days? Is it something that you get in 3 days? How fast does it take to actually start getting results?
So I'm smiling because we have clients who have after day two calling us and say like, "Oh my God, my life has changed. I feel so incredibly good." And the reason why we're smiling is because normally it takes up to 7 to 10 days to start the first level of absorption. So we know that the first couple of days it's the placebo effect where you're like, "Oh my God, I'm doing something good for my body," and that's how you build it up. We have regular blood testing every 3 months. Every 3 months is because it's a good check-in point to see where you are on your journey. In terms of when you could actually see it, by week 2, if you would do another blood test 2 weeks later, you would be ready to see improvement levels. But we always say, do it on a regular basis, do it every 3 months. And for us as a company, buy your third blood test. So after 6 months, we will be able to actually perfectly assess you what your most needs will be going forward. Because 3 blood tests is enough statuses for us to also exclude things like stress levels, travel, or bad diet at that given moment, and we can better predict what your average baseline would be for the future.
How much does it cost? For instance, the Bionic Go versus the Bionic Pro program. What does it cost? What am I in for? Is it a monthly
Sure,
thing? Is it a one-time
sure,
fee? I buy a program.
yeah. So if you want to just try Bionic Go, just 1 month, no subscriptions, $95 plus shipping. If you subscribe for 3 months, as we suggest for Bionic Go, it's $75 per month. Shipping is included. That's our most popular option. The majority of people are doing $75 per month for 3 months minimum subscription. Bionic Pro, if you already have a blood test yourself and you want to upload it, the upload and the consultation is $50. If you want to buy the blood test from us and one of our partners, like for example in US, the blood test is $249. It's 50 blood markers, so it's very extensive. And then the supplements themselves are $199 per month for 3 months minimum commitment. So Bionic Pro is $199 per month, and Bionic Go is $75 per month for 3 months.
Well, if you think about the price, it's not exactly, tearing or burning a hole in my pockets. If you're a CEO or an entrepreneur, like much of my audience is, you would do anything to get that extra level of focus, that extra level of energy. Do you know what I mean? So that you can make that vision of yours for your company a reality. What's your vision for this? I mean, it's now available in all around the world, pretty much all around the world. Clearly, you've got an incredible amount of data or insights into what micronutrients play in terms of a role in performance. You've got this incredible platform now, and you're backed by a lot of investors or high value investors and things. What is your vision for the future? Like, what type of impact are you looking to have in the world as a consequence of Bioniq?
I think the entire world is moving towards personalization, but unfortunately, the health sector feels like it's the last to catch up.
Mm.
So we believe that we're playing a role in the market for health and wellness, that personalization and the innovation that we now have in the data sphere, in the approach in terms of how can you predict and how you can impact things while making them still safe, is an opportunity that we must take. And we're on the forefront of educating the market that one size does not fit all for your health, that you should not put something in your body that's meant for everyone, because the most likely this is, as you said in the beginning, is a waste, not just of your time and money, but also your expectation, where you could actually do something for yourself. So we are on the forefront of personalization, health and wellness space, while showcasing what the innovation can do to accelerate the adoption of the market, and hopefully then, of course, the adoption of the demand of the consumer in their behavior towards what they put inside their body.
Mhm. So that's great. So let's talk about some of the outcomes. There's loads of incredible testimonials on your websites, but I'd love for you just to share a couple of stories. What has been, an impact on, say, a pregnant woman, or maybe an entrepreneur, or maybe an athlete, or what have you. Just love for you just to share some of, like, what are some of the, like, the key outcomes that come about. I'm on the Bioniq Pro program for 3 months. Like, what can I expect to see or to feel as a result?
Let me first answer you in quantifiable figures, because that's the uniqueness of our company. We're the only company where I can tell you, hey, Matt, 92% of our clients after 3 months have significant improvements on their core micronutrient levels, where 87% of the clients who had deficiencies in iron levels see improvement and by month 6 get into optimal levels, or 97% of our clients have vitamin D improvements up to optimal levels in 6 months. So I can tell you all those figures, but as a consumer, you're like, what does that mean? Well, I can tell you some stories. One of the stories that I hear very often is, oh my God, I went on a family trip. Everybody got sick except for me. They feel like their immunity system was so strong that although the virus was going around, they were able to perform, they were able to continue with the business. We have people, I wake up, I feel energized. I have very deep sleep. I get up in the morning, I have additional energy. I have more energy to work and then to work out. I have people who saying I can focus longer at work. If normally my window of concentration is 45 minutes to an hour, I'm now close to an hour and a half. There's also people who say it suppresses their appetite, so they feel that they can easier have a healthier diet. And then you also, of course, have the people who are more in the vein sphere in terms of aesthetics. They're like, I feel my hair feels better, my nails grow faster. So there's different stories. But in terms of, if I'm an entrepreneur, there's two things that I'm most interested in. I get sick less, so I'm more available. And the second part is, when I'm available, I'm more energetic and I feel better about myself. And I think those are the two things that are most and foremost the subjective feedback that we receive for people being on Bioniq.
It's amazing, man. Like, it's quite interesting. My whole house, except for myself, came down with like this weird viral thing, and I understand how valuable that is. I mean, I speak to CEOs every single day, and if I'm not able to do that because my kids are young and they bring and they go to school, it's like a virus thing. They come back. My wife got sick. They were down, the whole week, and I was just fine. So I think about that, and I wonder why, and I actually don't know why. But what I would say though, is that the ability to keep performing at a high level and to be more resistant to the stresses of being a business owner, the risks of having children, you know what I mean? Like they go to school, they're exposed to all sorts of things, and as seasons change, all loads of people just get sick. It's like a weird thing. And so I feel very motivated, right, to keep my health at that level where you're not getting sick. And I think that the opportunity cost of paying like $200 versus, staying healthy, like one sales call, you're making 1,000 or 10,000 times that ROI, right? Because you're not down
Yes.
and out. And that for
Yes.
me is such a powerful story.
And you know what's going on inside of you. I think that's also an important part. It's also, you better listen. This is the thing that I always say. I go on stage and I see that the crowd isn't really paying attention. I just ask the crowd, who here in the crowd has a car? And let's say majority of the audience raised their hand. And I'm like, so what kind of car do you have? They're like, a Ford. What kind of model? They're like, Mustang. I'm like, what kind of fuel? They're like, gasoline. They're like, so how many horsepower? So like 270. I'm like, what's your blood type? Silence. And I'm like, how do you know so much about your car that you're going to change in 3 years from today, but you have no idea what goes on inside of your body? Like, we need to change the mind, the approach. We need to change how we think about ourselves and our bodies. We need to figure out what goes on inside of us. We need to understand, what's my uric acid? How does my uric acid? Uric acid impacts inflammation, impacts how I digest things, impacts how I feel. What impacts uric acid? Is it red meat? Is it shellfish? I decided one day I want to eat more shrimps because they're less fatty and have great protein source. So I did that for 3 weeks. My uric acid shot up so much, dude. I mean, I was getting sick because of that. Those are the things that we're not thinking about, but we're thinking about, the new iPhone came out. I think their camera is 4 pixels better. Really? So I think it's time for us as a society to adapt, and especially somebody in a leadership role. If I cannot perform up to my best, it impacts not just me, it impacts my whole organization. And it impacts, of course, also the people who depend on me, like my family. So a little bit putting some ROI on myself will lead actually to a big, return in the future when thinking about how much impact this has on the overall performance.
Do you know what this is for me, man? It's a big thing it's relevant to so many different people. But obviously, with my background on the show, it's all really entrepreneurs. And one of the things that we always talk about is how we're scaling companies. How do you go to market? How do you raise money? How do you use influence to scale your companies or what have you? But what we really don't actually talk about is entrepreneur health. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
100%, 100%. And this is the thing where we're all guilty. We're all guilty, even if you and I know what to do. If you and I go to a professional, they will tell you what to do. 90% of the things that they tell you, you know. But the difference between knowing and doing is so huge. So what we're trying to do as a company is, and I have entrepreneurs who use Bioniq, they're like, I'm outsourcing part of my health to you so you can think and look after for me so I don't have to do it myself. So I'm fully in line with you that we need to keep talking openly about it and understand the importance of it.
and that's the thing. I think our pride gets in the way, doesn't it? Like, we don't want to say that, hey, I'm battling, whether that's mental health, or I'm battling with depression or energy levels, or I'm just fatigued, I'm burnt out. And we don't want to put our hand up, especially men. We don't want to put our hand up and say, hey, I actually need help, dude. Can you
Yeah,
help me?
and the funny part is, most likely the reason why you are feeling low is because your testosterone level is low, and the reason why your testosterone level is low is probably because of your stress levels, your sleep patterns, or your diet. If you eat 1.5 hours before going to bed a fatty meal, you have a horrible quality of sleep. Horrible quality of sleep leads to lower growth hormone. Lower growth hormone leads to you not being able to recover quick enough. And then you wake up without a full recovery next morning, you put additional stress on top of it, and you get just worse and worse and worse in the vicious cycle. And then you come and be like, I feel horrible. Of course you feel horrible. That's the impact of natural impact of your body. It's not because you're less of a man, it's because your daily habits impact your overall health.
And knowledge is power, right? So knowing where you actually are and how to fix your own internal performance game, for lack of a better label, I think that's a huge opportunity for a lot of business leaders.
And that's what we're taking away. Like, if I ask Matt, what micronutrients do you need? You will start thinking and you will start saying things. And I'll ask you, well, how much of it do you need? For how long? And you most likely will not know all the answers, although you are in sync with your body, knowledgeable and caring. Now imagine the people who are not in sync, who are only starting their journey, So what we're trying to take away the guess game, what your body needs, and give you already the solution to start with based on the data sets that have proven to work.
So, Vadim, if you could, how many customers are currently using your products?
So as I said last time, we're now close to 60,000 people have on a regular basis done blood testing with us. And we're now, for the last 4.5 months, completely all over the world.
Mhm. And the US market, as you said, you've just entered into. So there's a huge growth opportunity for you guys. How many customers do you think you guys are going to be able to positively make a difference to, say, in the next 1 to 3 years? What's the sort of impact that you're looking to have?
I think Bionic Go has easily the opportunity to be over 100,000 per month with new consumers coming on board. The thing with Bionic is because people ask me how long I should take Bionic, and I tell them, how long do you plan on eating right and sleeping well? It's part of your daily routine. So we believe that we're talking about millions of users in the next 3 years.
That's amazing. And who are some of your strategic partners? Like, who are you working with to help distribute this product, to help get it out to as many people as possible?
So what we do is, in terms of your market entry, we always, in any market we enter, we partner with the leading medical institutions. So we went into the German market, it was Lanzerhof. In the UK, it was London Global Practice. In the UAE, it's King's College Hospital. So we always make sure in the US we partner with Next Health. We are partners with some of the largest laboratory companies. And then you obviously also get athletes on board. So, we've been partners with the UFC, we've been partners with the European champion for Ironmans. We had Tour de France bike riders. We have currently World Cup winners and, global known football players, NBA players, NHL players on Bionic. So we've been quite in demand with the people who, as I said at the beginning, are looking for that additional edge. But most importantly, the medical institutions believe in us because they see if it actually works. Our very, very first partner, before actually onboarding us as a partner for their offering for their clients, tested us for 6 months. And after 6 months, they saw the improvement levels and said, okay, now we feel confident in giving this to our clients and patients going forward, which makes us not just a lifestyle supplement company like majority which you see around you, but something that is backed by medical institutions, although we are not a medical product.
It's amazing. UFC, hey? So can you name drop
I
any
cannot
athlete?
name.
Is
I
Johnny Bones
cannot.
the guy that's using your product? Come on. Hey?
No, I cannot name drop any. I cannot. But I, I think it's not hard to find online if you really try. But I'm unfortunately forbidden from sharing this publicly.
I'm just a huge fan of the UFC, man. So,
Me too. Me too. I had one of our one. I think a quick story, just for the listeners and the UFC fans, was before even launching the company. I launched the company in January 2019. We did a little test run in 2018, and it turned out to be that one of our very, very first users in that first trial patch was working for the performance center for the UFC in Nevada and out in Vegas. And he used our product for 4 or 5 months, and he gives me a call and he's like, dude, I love your product. Can you come out and demonstrate this to our head of performance here in Vegas? So this was November of 2011. I fly to Vegas. 2018. I fly to Vegas and I explain to them Bionic and how this works. And I see the room looking at me like, we've never seen something like this before. And this is where my mind clicked. I was like, okay, if I'm creating something that even the ultimate organization like UFC with all the resources and all their capabilities and partnerships has not seen yet or not tested yet, I might be onto something. And that was the moment where I flew back, quit my day job and said, okay, I'm all in, and launched Bionic 2 months later.
that's such a cool story. Are there any other kinds of stories like that, like where people, like especially people in the space, where they're doing research, they're developing sciences and programs and things like that? Have there been other stories or other reactions to Bionic that has surprised you over the years?
I think the biggest surprise that you will see is the following. I'm very proud of Bionic as a brand, also in terms of touch and feel and the perception of it. One of the things that always makes me smile is when people after 3 months or 6 months see their results and they're like, "Oh my God, that also works." So they all thought it's a nice package or it's a nice name or it's great marketing, or they're like, oh, I had no idea this actually works. So the thing that makes me always giggle is a little bit when people just assume that this whole thing is just, a nice package, and then they see firsthand the impact on a quantifiable level. And that always gives me additional boost and motivation to keep going, to just showcase and prove people, more and more people wrong, that if personalized supplements, then you can expect actual impact.
Amazing. Vadim, why do you do what you do? Like, why do you do this? What gets you out of bed in the morning?
So a couple of things is, first of all, if Bioniq wouldn't exist, I would have to invent it, or if it would exist, I'd be their consumer. So this is something that is absolutely essential part of my life. I go no day without it. My whole family is on it. Everybody who's around me has been on it for years. So I just believe that this is an incredible, important component that cannot be missed. I believe also that, as I said beforehand, that we as a society owe it to ourselves to use and take advantage of the innovation, first and foremost, for the most important part that we have, which is health. So the longevity approach and the improvement optimization, health optimization approach is a necessity. And I want to improve the quality of life, not just the range, not just the length, but also the quality of life. And third, foremost, is the people that you meet in the industry. You meet people who are interested in quality, prolongation, optimization. So it's a great mindset to be around, because it keeps you on your toes and it keeps your eyes open. What's the next step? What's out there? So it's something I intrinsically believe in. It's something that everybody around me uses, and I plan to use going forward, regardless where I'm in the world. And last but not least, it also opens doors to have conversations with people like you and other people, where you have a constant feedback, but also a loop of information that can trigger the next step evolution of your product and other products.
Amazing, man. What a cool story, but really amazing. Tell me, where can people find Bioniq on social, websites, things
Yeah.
like that?
So the website is Bioniq.com. Bioniq.com, you'll find two products, Bioniq Go and Bioniq Pro. On social, it's Bioniq Co, so Bioniq Co. That's our global account. We have also regional accounts depending where you are in the world. You can find me. I'm Vadim_Bioniq on Instagram, and I'm Vadim Fedotov on LinkedIn. Shoot me a message. We're always happy. But yeah, the easiest way is Bioniq.com. Start with Bioniq Go. Start your journey and don't look back.
Yeah. And I love that last line, like start your journey. And I think people need to start, especially now, like going into 2024, everyone's like, oh, new things, let's experiment different things. I think the worst thing that you can do is not start, on this.
The worst thing you can do is to do the same thing that you've been doing and expect a different result. So if you've been taking your supplements, but you still feel saggy, or you still feel like you're not as energetic, or you still not feel as strong during virus season, or you still feel like you could look differently and feel differently about yourself, don't just take the same thing next year and hope it's different. Don't do the same diet, don't do the same exercise. Just go to where the data has proven to work for other people, see if it works for you, and if it does, double down on it and continue with it.
Absolutely. Vadim, listen, brother, congratulations on what you've built. I'm all about influence, and influence is really about elevating others, and that's really what you're doing. So wishing you and the team there at Bioniq all the very best for the future.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for having me. And 2024 is our year.
Let's go, baby. Everybody else, we'll see you again soon. Ciao for now.
Cheers. Bye.